Well, the time has come to say goodbye to the MR2 and the Harley for the winter time. And while all the white girls are enjoying their pumpkin spice lattes and their Ugg boots, I'm over here crying myself to sleep. Well, not really. Anyways, it's time to put them away for the winter because neither one of these is too much fun in the snow. So I'm just going through and getting them ready for storage. And I thought I'd take you behind the scenes on what I do to get these things ready for basically to be sitting for 5, maybe even 6 months. Now, unless you own an old carbureted vehicle with bias ply tires and stuff, you really don't need to listen to those old timers and how complicated they make things sound. Fogging the engine and taking your wheels off, jacking them up. On a newer vehicle, like, I mean, the MR2 is not exactly a new vehicle, but it's what I would consider modern. It's fuel injected, it has modern wheels and tires. You don't have to worry about all that crap. So what I do for both vehicles is really just 2 main things. Number 1, I pull the battery out and I'll leave it at home on a wooden shelf, and like once a month I'll throw the battery tender on it just to make sure that it's topped up and it stays charged. I do that on both vehicles. And number 2, again, both vehicles, I fill them all the way up with gas. Like, I top it all the way up, as much fuel as I can get in there. The only reason I do that is just because if there's fuel occupying a place, then corrosion and moisture can't build up there. So I fill it up right up to the tippy top if I can. And the only other thing that I do in regards to that is I'll throw some fuel stabilizer in there, just because you'd be amazed at how quickly your gas will lose its octane rating after it sits for even just a few weeks. And especially for this car, with a built motor and everything, we kind of want to protect that. We don't want to be dropping it off in the fall with 94 octane in it and then driving it home in the springtime with like 50 something octane. I don't know if it drops that much, I'm just saying. But that's mainly the big 2 things that I do. I do other things, but they're not as important as that. Pull the battery, fill it up with gas, stabilize the fuel, that's it. Now for the less important kind of minor things that I do, I always wash the vehicle and get it cleaned up before I'm going to be storing it. The main reason is if there are any bugs stuck to it. Those bugs and bird droppings are really acidic, and if you give them enough time they will etch into your paint, and by then often it's too late to fix them then. Sometimes you can get away with wet sanding them or something, but you just don't want to mess with that if you don't have to. So I don't go for like a full show quality detail if I don't want to. It's just a matter of just getting any contaminants off there that you don't want sitting on the painted surface for maybe 6 months. Another thing that I like to do is I will actually put extra air pressure in my tires. And it's not because I'm afraid of flat spots. People that tell you that a modern tire is going to get permanent flat spots, just they just don't know what they're talking about. Old bias ply tires, that was a problem. Like tires from the 60s and 70s, that was legit. Modern radial tires with steel belts in them, you're not going to get flat spots that are permanent, as long as they're still in good shape. Sorry, apparently Mustang owners have to establish their dominance in this neighborhood. But as long as your belts are in good shape and not like broken or messed up, you're not going to have to deal with flat spots. Any type of flat spots that you might have when you pick it up in the springtime, as soon as you drive it down the highway, they're gonna sort themselves out. It's really a non-issue. Now the reason that I actually pump them up though is it really just comes down to the temperature change throughout the winter time. You will probably lose a little bit of air pressure. So even though I'm not concerned about flat spots, I don't want these things sitting flat for a few months at a time. That's not really good for the sidewall of the tire either. So I'll pump them up to, I'll throw like an extra 5 or 10 psi in them, and then if it drops a little bit throughout the off season, you got a bit more wiggle room there. Another thing that I like to do before I park it is I'll just crack my windows down like an inch, just to allow the interior to breathe a little bit. I think that as long as you've chosen a good place to store it in the first place, you don't really have to worry about humidity and moisture and even pests. I don't plug up my exhaust pipe or anything like that. I just crack the windows just to keep things fresh in there, just because it is going to be a closed space for months at a time. That's not a do or die thing though, that's just kind of a personal preference. Now for the things that I don't do. Oh, my old man back. So, a big thing, if you're going to be storing your vehicle for a long time, is don't use your e-brake. You don't want to have that under tension for months at a time. And you run the risk of the pad sticking to the rotors or whatever kind of e-brake system you have. It's better, I mean, I guess the best case would be to just leave it in neutral and chock the wheels. Personally, I just pop it in gear and I just leave it just like that. And there might be people that think that there's a problem with leaving it in a gear. Yeah, you could be right, you could be wrong. I just know I've been storing this car for the winter for 14 years. And I've done it the same way, and it has never had any problems whatsoever in the springtime. So it's up to you how you do it. I guess if your car is an automatic, then you're really sitting pretty. Just pop it into park and you're good. But the main thing is just leave your e-brake off. Another thing that I don't do is use a car cover. And I got a separate video on that. I'm not sure if I've released it yet or not, but it comes down to I would rather the car just sit and get dusty, and then I'll wash it off in the spring, as opposed to having a cover on there, potentially flapping in the breeze if somebody opens up a door, or just, in my case, especially with this car being so delicate, it's 100% that a car cover is going to scratch the paint. So I just avoid it entirely. I clean it before I drop it off. In the springtime, it's usually still pretty clean, has a little bit of dust on it. First wash of the year, you're right back to normal, and you minimize your risk of scratches that way. And the third thing that I never do when I store my car, this one makes me laugh. Some people they got rocks in their head. I don't go to the place that I store the car once a week and start it up and let it idle. I don't know why you would think that's a good idea. Maybe it's good for the owner to be able to see and hear their vehicle so they don't miss it as much, but as far as your engine goes, it's not going to like that, man. There's a few reasons why you don't want that, but first of all, it's not going to keep your battery charged. If anything, it's going to drain your battery from starting it over and over again. Your alternator needs to be under load, like with the car driving, for it to actually be charging your system. So that's out. That's not a good reason. That's stupid. As far as keeping all of your seals and gaskets and stuff in good shape, again, on a decent modern vehicle, it's not going to be a problem. If you're only storing it for like 6 months at a time, you don't have to worry about that. And if you do have problems with leaking seals and gaskets from sitting for 6 months, that's a problem with your car, not your storage procedure. Now, the downsides to starting your engine up over and over again throughout the off-season. I already talked about how you're going to drain your battery instead of charge it. And the other thing is you're going to have condensation build up in your engine. And normally that condensation in your oil it'll burn off once you start driving, especially once the car leans out, like on the highway or something, gets up to operating temperature, then that stuff just disappears. If all the car is doing is sitting there idling, then that condensation ain't going anywhere. And there's also the whole wear and tear on starting your engine over and over again like that if you don't need to. I mean, most people that know engines well will tell you that the startup process is kind of one of the hardest things on the engine. The other thing is most cars will run really rich on cold start, and if you're storing it in the winter, that tells me that it's probably a pretty cold time of year, and it's going to be running rich when you start it up, so you're going to be dumping the fuel past the cylinder walls and just fouling everything out. But that's just my thoughts on everything. That's the stuff that I do to get these vehicles ready for storage. The only thing that I do to the Harley different than the car is I'll drain the carb once I get it to the place where I'm storing it, just because I don't want to leave the fuel inside the carburetor, and then you could run the risk of things gumming up in there, and I don't want to rebuild a carb. I'm an import car guy. I don't know how to rebuild a carburetor. So that's one thing I do. I just set the petcock to the off position and let it run until it runs out of fuel and stalls, and then you know you got no fuel left in your carburetor. And then makes it a little bit tougher in the springtime to get it fired up, just because you got to run the gas into that, but I've never had a problem. A couple tries and she'll fire right back up. Other than that, that's all I do, guys. I'll catch you on the next one. See ya.